Hey there YouTube, this is Catastor87 again. I know I did 2 videos today already, but I haven't done some videos in a while, so I'm going to consistently post videos by posting them whenever the hell I want and in spurts. But today I'm going to discuss a deck type I've been kind of playing around with. It's not set to release for a while, as it contains monsters from the next structure deck and Abyss Rising, which both will probably be out. Well, Abyss Rising I think was set to come out in November, and the structure deck is probably going to be shortly beforehand. But it's an Atlantean Mermail hybrid. Atlanteans are the theme for the structure deck specifically, and Mermails are sort of like what's actually rising out of the Abyss in Abyss Rising. Because they all have Abyss in their name, and that's actually what the whole set is about. But getting into it, we're going to start off with 3 Atlantean Seahorseman, and that's what he looks like. You get a good close-up look at him. He's a level 4 water sea serpent, 1800 attack, 0 defense, and all Atlanteans have two effects. 1, while on the field, he has one effect. And 2, when he's used for the cost of a water monster's effect, he gets another effect. And that's specifically, I can discard it, I can tribute it, I can send it as an XYZ material, I can send it from the deck to the graveyard, as long as it was used to activate a cost and then sent to the graveyard, that effect activates. Now his on-field effect allows level 3 or lower sea serpent monsters to attack directly, and that specifically works with one of the other Atlanteans, but I doubt I'll ever actually see that effect go off very often, but we'll see. But his send effect is actually a really good one, is that when he is sent to the graveyard for a cost of a water monster, you get to search your deck for 1 sea serpent monster, any of them, and add it to your hand. Except for himself, as they all have that kind of limit on them. Next we have 3 Atlantean Armsmen, and you can take a good look at him there. Level 2, water, sea serpent, 0 attack, 1600 defense. His on-field effect is that you are allowed an extra normal summon of a sea serpent monster in addition to your normal summon set. And then his cost effect is that when he is sent to the graveyard, you get to target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. So it's actually one of your main targets, because it just allows you to pop any card your opponent controls, which is very powerful. To round off the Atlanteans, I have 2 Atlantean Armsmen. It's 1400 level 3, and there's a good look at him. 1400 0 defense, level 3 sea serpent. His on-field effect is that when he inflicts damage to your opponent, you get to special summon 1 Atlantean sea serpent monster from your deck. And then that's usually, for me, it'll be Seahorseman, just because I don't... you could run the one of the other Atlanteans, Pikeman. He's like 1400, and he gains like 800 when he's next to another sea serpent, fish, or aqua monster. So he basically comes out at like 2200, I believe. But I don't want to run him. I'd rather just like not rely on that first effect and just summon Seahorseman when I can actually use that effect. But his cost effect is that when he's sent, you get to target a face-down card your opponent controls and then destroy it. So basically, Armsman gets face-ups, Marksman gets face-down. And I'm assuming that I'm probably going to be hitting face-ups more often, as I just hate hitting chainable face-downs. But I'm gonna side a 3rd Armsman and kind of switch it out depending on the deck. Switch in and out depending on like what kind of deck I'm facing. I mean, if I'm facing a trap-heavy deck, 3 will be invaluable, but we'll see. Alright, to help the other sea serpents, we have 3 Deep Sea Diva. Considering it can summon a level 3 or lower sea serpent, it can summon both Armsman and Marksman from your deck. So you can, like, Marksman's a level 3, so you can make the level 5 synchros just like normal. Armsman is level 2, so you can either exceed for 2 or go for Armory Arm if that's what you're into. I could see the use. But there's other shenanigans, like going a Diva. If you have 2 Divas in your hand, like if you drew one and searched one off a Seahorseman, you can go Diva into Armsman in defense, and then Armsman allows you to another normal summon of a Sea Serpent, so you summon the second Diva and go into other things, and then you just have a field full of stuff. Alright, and then going into the Mermail side, we start off with 3 Mermail Abysslindes. And that is what she looks like. It's a level 3 fish, 1500 attack. It's the recruiter for Mermails. It's one of the good ones. And it's actually conditioned good. Its effect activates just when it destroys, and also does not have a limit on level. So I can actually get any of the, although there's only one that breaches level 4, it's actually a really good one, and I run 2 of that in my deck. But when it's destroyed, you search for your deck for a Mermail and special summon it, and either face up to special summon it, and then except for herself, she can't get herself. So there's that thing. Like, a lot of these things can't, like, target themselves with their search effects. But moving on. We have 3 Mermail Abysspike, and he's a 1600 level 4 fish. Oh, I'm sorry, Abysslinde's not a fish, it was a aqua, I believe, if I remember correctly. The guys are fish, the girls are aqua, for some reason, in the Mermail archetype. But when he's summoned at all, including from Abysslinde or normal summon or whatever, you can discard 1 water monster to search your deck for 1 specifically level 3 water monster to add to your hand. And one of the things is that I can use this, discard my Atlanteans, their effects activate because it was a cost, and then I get to search for a level 3. Like, I can search for other more Abysslindes for later. I can search for Genex Undines, which are later in this deck profile, or I can search for Marksmans and add them to my hand. So it has really good targets in here. And also, if you discard a Seahorseman, basically you summon this and you search 2, which is awesome. And the last Mermail I run 2 Mermail, what was it? Megaloabyss. Can remember the name. It's a big fish guy. It's a 2400 level 7. I believe he's also a fish. But he can be summoned by Abysslinde, but his effect is if he's in your hand, you can discard 2 water monsters, usually activating like the effects of Atlanteans, to special summon him onto the field. If he's special summoned this way, you get to add 1. Well, depending on what they actually name it in the TCG or the OCG, it's either going to be Depth or Abyss. So, Depth or Abyss, Trap, or Spell. And that's usually, then I have 1 target for that, which I'll show you later. But its secondary effect is the one I will probably activate more, is that you can tribute 1 water monster on your side of the field, and then this card can attack twice for this battle phase. So it's a game ender. It's 2400 twice is a lot of damage. And like, while I'm activating my Atlantean's effects and clearing your field while doing it, it's even better. So, alright, and then we have 2 Genex Undine, like I talked before. I can't seem to find anyone who has them. I should have them soon, though. And 2 Genex Controller. Now, Genex Undine is one of the, despite the limitation to be tied to Genex Controller and his weak stats, he's one of the best cards in the deck, because I can summon him and then get any of the Atlantean's effects that I want. Do I want to see a Serpent in my hand? It'll do that. Do I want something face up removed? It'll do that. Do I want something face down removed? It'll do it. It's just ridiculous. And I can't see why. I can't see why I wouldn't run it. Despite how kind of like disconnected it feels sometimes. And then lastly, to round off the monsters, we have 2 Effect Veilers. Now, I know I talk in my other videos about how I don't like Effect Veiler right now in the main. I don't feel like if I Effect Veiler a monster, and then if I can't destroy it next turn, it'll just activate it again if it's one of those kind of monsters. But in this deck, I can consistently remove targets. So I can, if you have like a rabbit or something, I can Veiler it, and then if I like summon, if I get something of mine to discard like an Armsman, or send an Armsman as a cost, then I can destroy your rabbit without actually having to worry about your battle or your anti-battle traps. So, I mean, there's always warning, which is a problem, but that's warning. It's hard to get around that one. Alright, on to the spells. We have 2 Salvage. I have a bunch of Salvage targets, and I benefit very well by having those back in my hand. Like Divas to summon more, the Atlanteans to activate more, Abysslindes to search more, and Undines to activate again. It's just really good. It'll be dead early on, but then as soon as it's active, it's going to be really good for you. 2 MST. Just because I run, right now, 2 Marksman, so I don't necessarily need a 3rd, and I don't really swarm very often with this deck, so, alright, and then I have, as the one Abyss spell card that Megaloabyss summons, we have Abysscale Kraken, which can only be, it's an equipped card, equipped spell, it can only be equipped to a Mermail monster. The Mermail monster gains 400 attack, and then when a monster's effect is activated on your opponent's side of the field, you can negate that effect, and if you do, send this card to the graveyard. So it's basically a searchable Doomkaiser you stick onto a Mermail. So it's really nice. And as well as basically if you do Megaloabyss's double attack effect, that's just you're adding another 800 damage to your opponent when you discarded it. Alright, and then I have Book of Moon, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, staple stuff, you know. Onto the traps. Considering I have so many waters, Spiritual Water Art AoE, or however you say that effect, however you say that word, I can never think of it. But I have so many waters, and a lot of them are just like, I throw them on the field, and then I use them, and then they're pointless. Like Undine. Undine's a great target. 2 Torrential, and then I have the Solemn Trio. And then that's it for the traps. Spells and traps aren't that special except for a couple. But then onto the extra deck, I have 1 Armory Arm. Like I said, I can summon it off of Diva. 1 Catastor. 1 Sea Dragon Lord Gishilnodon, although I'm kind of considering it. I think I could activate the effect if necessary, but it's just a level 5 that's not Brio that actually could be themed with the deck really interestingly well. I mean, that's not Catastor and can be themed with the deck really well. But next is Brio, and Brio is really important, and so is Gungnir. These are both really important because they're both water monsters that send cards from your hand to the graveyard, like Atlanteans. So they become doubly important. And I can get them out decently with the deck, so there are ways to make it. Black Rose, one of the standard level 7s, Scrap Dragon, and then moving on to Xyz, as my rank 2s that I can get off of Diva, I have a Shining Elf and a Gachi. And then in the rank 3s, I have number 17 Leviathan Dragon. Hey, look at it, it's the mat. But Leviathan Dragon is actually also really important here, because if you make it with Marksman, then you can send Marksman to the grave, and that activates Marksman's effect. And then because Leviathan Dragon sends it XYZ material as a cost. So as long as it hits the grave, so that's also equally as important. And then just as another couple rank 3s, I have a Giga-Brilliant and this Muzurhythm, the String Djinn, which will be a Zen mains once the tin comes out. And with the rank 4s, I have a Maestroke, the Sypmphony Djinn, because I love Maestroke. And then I also have Evigishki Merrowgeist, which will come out in the next dual terminal very soon. but it's a water monster and rank 4, and I can use it with Seahorseman in the same way I can use Leviathan Dragon. Alright, and then that's my Mermail Atlantean deck. It's still very rough. I have testing to do with it, but I have a lot of time to test it. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know what you guys think, any suggestions. If you're interested in the Mermail Atlantean decks, let me know. I can explain what they are. Catastor 7 out.